Alright, grade 9, we are going to start with calculations, and I want you to make some notes before some reminders. So you can do this at the back of the book, or where you have answered question number 10. Just make a note there for yourself, some reminders. So what I would normally do, I would write, for example, note, some reminders on the right hand side, some reminders. So when I do study, I see the colors, okay, some reminders, and then I know I need to remember this. So then I would use a colorful highlighter or a coloring pen and give it some color. So when I'm preparing for my notes, for my test, it will grab my attention and I will know what to study. Alright, so we have some properties and identities. Identity element, it's called the first one, and you are supposed to know this from grade 8. So this is just a revising of that. So it's additive, the additive identity element, and also the multiplicative element. Multiplicative element. So here the identity element looks as follows. So we're going to make a quick table. So identity element you can write on the top, and then next to that you can write inverses. Alright, so inverse means when we swap it around, inverses of that, and then you can use your ruler to make it nice and neat and just distinguish by making a table. When they ask you to table something, you make use of a ruler. Alright, so I'm struggling to get used to this ruler, but I'll get there pretty soon. Alright, so make that table looking like this, and then our two lines crossing like this. I want you to follow, so you shouldn't be staring at the screen, but I want you to write as well as you are paying attention. Listening and paying attention. Alright, so our first one says a plus 0 is equal to, anyone? What is a plus 0? Still a. Alright, and then a times 1 is equal to a. And then the inverse of this would be, the first one, the additive property will be a plus negative a will be equal to a plus negative a. A plus negative a is equal to 0. That is called the additive law. And then we have the following, which is a times 1 over a is equal to, who can tell me this? 0. Emil, it's 1. Alright, so how do we get to that answer? We say a, what if something is written not as a fraction, we should always remember what is the denominator. The denominator is 1. Okay, so I'm going to say 1 times 1 over a, and now I'm going to simplify this quickly. So a times 1 is equal to 1a over 1a. Anything over himself is equal to 1. Alright, because what happens? This and this cancels out. A goes into himself once, and a goes into there once as well. So it's 1 over 1. And that's how we get to that property. And then I want you also to remember some properties of 0. So we looked at the additive and the multiplicative property. Now the properties of 0. Properties of 0, and the properties of 0 is the following. Okay, so the properties of 0 would be a times 0 is equal to, well done Kate. Kate says it's 0. And then a divided by 0, no, sorry, I beg your pardon, it's 0 divided by a. 0 divided by a is equal to 0. But it's equal to 0, sorry. It's equal to 0, and then who can tell me we did this earlier in the year? We begin with this by numbers. A divided by 0. Anything divided by 0 is is undefined. Alright, so it's the answer you would write there is undefined. You're going to write that in a question paper and then you're going to be sorry. So please do not pollute my class with wrong answers. I do not value that. Alright, so now we're going to look at question number 10.1. Alright, so question number 10.1. Anyone wants to read the question to us? Raise your hand if you want to read the question quickly. Question number 10.1, it's in your book. You're supposed to paste it. Owiso, I'm going to ask you to read the question, seeing that you are close to us.
With the following numbers in descending order, you may use your calculator.
Alright, so they say we may use our calculators and they ask us write the following numbers in descending form. Is that correct? Ascending. Alright, so that means ascending. It means we start from the smallest to the highest. Okay, so what is the smallest number? They said we can use our calculator, so I'm going to go to my calculator and then I'm just going to rewrite every number. So that means first let's look at the numbers that we have. So it's square root 2 times 2. Alright, and if I type this into my calculator, now my calculator, so 2 times with square root 2, and take note of how I'm typing this, is equal to that, and my answer will be 2,8. Alright, so what you can do, I would do the following. I would go write it out for me in this value, so that will be T 2.8284, and then I continue with my dots. The next number that we have is 8 over 3, and then if I were to simplify this, I can say 8 over 3, I go to my calculator because they said I can use my calculator. 8 divided by 3 is equal to, I put SD there, it's 2,6. You see that 6 is recurring, so I can just say 2.6, and then I do that with the 6. Okay? And then the next one is 2,7, so 2,7 is just 2,7. So I don't have to rewrite that. All that I did now here is I rewrote this in decimal form. Alright, so now what was the question to write this in ascending form? So I'm going to say my answer needs to say what I'm doing. Remember when I told you on a previous occasion, it is beneficial for you to write the answer to answer the question. But if I only write 1, 2, 3, what is it? Is it I need to make sense of what I'm answering. So they ask me in ascending form. So I'm going to write in ascending order. The answers would look as follow. Alright, so I will have 8 over 3, 2,7, and square root 2 of times square root 2. Alright, so I don't know what is the marks allocated to that. I think it was 1 mark. Alright, so if you got it correct, you can give yourself 1 mark right there. Give yourself a mark there. What is the marks allocated? 2 marks. Alright, so it would be 2 marks. It's the 1 mark for all the answers, and the other one will be for in the correct order. Okay, so now we continue and we're going to question number 10.2. I'm not going to read the question. The question is in front of you. This was actually 10.1, and now I'm going to 10.2. So 10.2, we have the following numbers. The numbers is 50%. 50% you should know is equal to 50 over 100, and 50 over 100 is equal to 1 over 2. As a decimal, that will be 0,5. Our next number that we have is square root of 4, and square root of 4 is equal to 2, and then our other number that we have is negative 0,25. Right now, what is the question there? In descending order. So descending, pay attention, remember in descending order. So I answer my question in descending order. Remember the person marking that Mr. Le Cordeur, he doesn't know anything. So if you just see numbers, he's not going to understand what that numbers mean. So you have to write mathematics, you have to write as a language. He needs to understand, even if he doesn't look at the question paper, he needs to understand what you are asked, what you have been asked. All right. So your answer in descending order. In descending order, you write, and then you write. So my answer will be, this first one will be square root of 4, and then 50%, and then square root, 0.25. Everyone is with me with this? This was a very simple exercise. It is a bit the revision of the previous grades. So I trust that you won't have any problems with this as far. All right, 11.2, 11.1. Who wants to read 11.1 for me? Anyone? Kate? 11.1, please. Read the instruction at 11. In each case, choose the bigger number. All right, I'm going to provide you with the answers. All right, raise your hand and then provide me with the answer and also your name so that I can pretend that I get to know you. Raise your hand for number 1.1. Yes. First, take your name. Simanye, and Simanye says his answer is 0.514. I want to agree with that just because it's Valentine's Day. So Simanye, even if you are wrong, I will give that to you today. All right. Next one is 11.2. Who wants to give me 11.2? Raise your hand. Yes. State your name. Liema. Negative 3.20. Today it's Valentine's Day, so no one is wrong today. Okay, so Liema, thank you for that. Question number 11.3. Yes, your hand was up first. Latita. Latita says his answer is 6. Alright, so Latita is pointing out the symbol of the number as well as he's giving it. So Latita, I do not hope you are affiliated with that number. Alright, because it's all about the kroon. 11.4, Emil. Alright. 3.8. Okay, so that will be 27 over 7. Alright, if you simplify, it is 3.857. Alright, so it's 27 over 7, and that is bigger because it's 3.857. The next one is question number 11.5. State your name. Torben says his answer is negative 43, and I want to agree with that because it's Valentine's Day. No one will get stuff wrong today. Okay, so that's question number 11. We answered everything about question 11. Take 1 minute and just look at question number 12. Make sure you know that you answered correct. All right, grade 9. Nobody else see? Grade 9, I don't see you again. Alright, so have a lovely day, have a lovely weekend. Question number 13, 12. Alright, look at number 12 and number 13. Please, I do not want you to come late, so 10 minutes is acceptable. Anything besides that, then we are taking a lot of time of the period. So please, make sure you are on time for my class. That's rule number 1. Only number 13 for homework, alright? Here you go.